Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Michala. I started this video a little different with already lighting my candle because I just want to jump straight into showing you my Paper Republic. This is the lei portfolio in olive green. I've had it for about 2 months now, a little less than 2 months. I got it for Mother's Day, so like second week or first week of May, and then it's the very beginning of July when I'm filming this. So I've had it for almost 2 months and I've been loving it so much I wanted to film another video with it. I feel like I'm really getting settled into it. This is an A6 size and I got my initials on it, but I've just been really loving it. I added my charms that were previously on a different journal. I have this ginkgo leaf charm, and lately I added this clock. And yeah, I've just been having such a great time with this journal, I think because of the size, as well as I just love the quality of the leather, that I kind of feel like I'm finding my journaling self again. I think having a YouTube channel, if you don't know, last year was the year I started my channel, and I think creating content about journals just kind of just opened myself up to the world of journaling again. I have been journaling since I was young, but really just in my own bubble. I occasionally would have Pinterest boards with journal inspiration, but for a lot of my life, I just journaled on my own. I've always loved crafts and artistic things, and I went to school for art, so I always tended to journal and find a way to make it a little bit artistic. But I think in the past year of making videos about my journals, I just had a lot of new information overload because I also watch journalers now, and I think just being exposed to everything that's out there became like a little bit overwhelming. And when I planned what I wanted to be my journal ecosystem for this year, I chose my journals very intentionally, but so many different journals were new to me because I really just used like Moleskine journals and midori and just a few journals like that previously, as well as like a Leuchtturm I had for morning pages. So now with all of these different journals, I think I've just been rediscovering what size I prefer, what kind of journaling I like to do, trying out different things, and I'm finally in a place where I'm really happy with my setup, to the point of I've kind of only been using this journal lately for the past few weeks, and I've been really loving it. Part of why I added this clock on here, which is on a clip, so sometimes I take it off, is because I take it with me everywhere throughout the house and outside when I'm watching my kids and stuff like that, so that I can leave my phone fully inside. So I like to have the clock, and I definitely know how to read an analog clock, but I do feel like the style up here where it doesn't have the numbers, I can be pretty slow to read it. So I kind of got it also just to test my time telling skills, and I don't have the two clocks set on different time zones or anything, but when we travel, I do like to set one of them to the time zone we're in and one of them to my home time zone. So that's what I have this for, and I'll open it up. And I currently like the sound that these two things make together. I feel like I might not always like that, but right now I do. And then in the front, I have a ruler over here that I use to draw in my margins. It's just this little ruler I've had for a long time. It's the Westcott brand. I think I just got it at an art supply store a long time ago. I have a little Polaroid I've added from a different journal of my husband and I. I'm making a weird face, but it's one of the first pictures we took together. And then just this like random butterfly sticker. I originally put it here in case I wanted to add it to a page, but I've just kind of liked putting it in here. And then I have some new dot stickers. These are the Stalogy brand, and I just wanted to try those because I'll show you my current dot stickers, and I just kind of wanted to try something else because I'm kind of running low on my other dot stickers, and they vary in the color. So like they're watercolor kind of dot stickers, but that means on a sheet of red stickers, for example, it varies from like pink to red, and that was kind of making it hard for me to use those colors to represent different things because I would get confused. I'd be like, is this a pink sticker? Is this a red sticker? Same with like yellow and orange and things like that. So I wanted to try these Stalogy ones, but I haven't used them yet because I'm still moving through my other ones just to use them up. And then I have 2 sets of tabs because I use these when I read books and annotate them. as well as I annotate my own journals sometimes, just because I am, as you'll see, using one journal for pretty much everything that I want to journal about. So the tabs just help me kind of simply color code things and maybe like point out a list I want to revisit or a poem that I wanted to keep working on, things like that. So I just have tabs in here for reading and journaling. And then this came with my Midori, and I just have it in here for when I finish my Midori notebook. That's what I have in my front pocket right now. And then this is a Traveler's Notebook brand Passport clear zipper pouch that I've just been using for a little bit of decoration in the front. It's just like a map piece of paper that came with an ephemera pack and fern sticker that's not even stuck on, so I can change it if I want. And then I've been keeping my dot stickers in the back along with some clear sticky notes, and I swap out which like color I have in here because I have a whole pack of clear sticky notes from Mr. Pen brand, and it came with a pen. I'll show you what the pen looks like for writing on these sticky notes, because I will say transparent sticky notes are kind of that slippery material, and only really like Sharpies can write on here without smudging later. So sometimes I take this pen with me too. It just says Mr. Pen on it because it came with an annotating set. And then these are my dot stickers I was talking about, and you can see they kind of range. So like my purples and the blues can kind of start to look like one another. So once I use these up, I think I'll, especially these two colors, I'll swap over to these colors because they're pretty similar. So my key, my key I've been developing will stay the same, and I'll just swap to these colors. And I think over time, this pinkish purple I'll use for the red to signify the same thing that I'm currently using my red dots for. So that's a change I'm going to make soon. And then I've kind of combined my Passport TN setup. If you've seen any of my videos with my Passport Traveler's Notebook, I use it as a commonplace and a reading companion. And I moved this, I don't think I've shown, but it was planned for that TN notebook, and this notebook is my reading journal that was in my Traveler's Notebook. So I put these in here instead because I'm really, like I said, enjoying having everything in one place. And my Traveler's Notebook Passport size is not very good leather quality. It's an off-brand. So I started noticing I just really prefer this cover, and I felt like I was overcomplicating it by having the two journals when, at least for right now, I can just move these little journals in this notebook. So essentially I kind of combined my Traveler's Notebook Passport size and my Paper Republic setups and combined them into one because it's just what I've been using the most. So this is Traveler's Notebook brand undated monthly little insert, and I put these two stickers on the front, honestly just kind of on a whim. So I just felt like it was blank and I wanted to add something, and I got a sticker book that had really pretty stickers. So I threw those on there, and then the first spread is blank, and then this little kind of daily box spread I've been using just to put a little X on the days I've read, so you can see I put June and July just as another form to keep track of the days I'm reading. And on the monthlies, I'm doing what I was doing in my forest planner, but this feels like a much more convenient size for just tracking the days that I'm reading what books. So green is Queen of Shadows, and you can see I highlighted the days I was reading that. And I did it really messy because I wasn't on a flat surface when I did it, but that's another thing I've been enjoying about this journal system, is just falling in love with it being my journal again and not being a place of perfectionism where I try to make it beautiful to show you guys, because I think without meaning to, I was just kind of feeling like I need to get better and better at journaling, which is obviously kind of a lot of pressure and takes away from the fun of it. But I don't really know why I put expectations on myself like that. So even though it's kind of wonkily highlighted in here, I still like it because it feels more like when I was a kid, and all of my journals were honestly pretty ugly. But as long as it's practical, I think that is good enough. And so I used this like brush marker pen I have just to put June and a couple star stickers. And again, my key is over here. And then I do have a book to add that I binge read at the end over here. And then I'll set up July. But yeah, I really like this because it's undated, so it just takes a lot of pressure off of me. and I just did a Monday start when I wrote my days up here because that's kind of what I'm used to. And yeah, I've been really liking this little insert. It's very simple, but serves its purpose well. And then this I've shown in my traveler's notebook, passport videos before. I like how I decorated the front. These are just stickers from a pack I was gifted, but I think they're from Amazon. I'll try to add them to my Amazon favorites so you can find them if you want, because I do think they're very nice quality stickers. And they're waterproof if you want to put them on your like water bottle, which is nice. And then this little washi sticker is from one of those sets that I get often of botanical ephemera that I use in my reading journal a lot. This has not really changed, but I have more books in here. So I just use this as a mini reading journal, mostly for ideas and quotes of the books I'm reading in the moment, and I'm very like kind of carefree with it. I usually have it in my lap in bed, and I don't even always take the insert out, so sometimes it's kind of wobbly, but I don't mind. It feels kind of like I'm researching. It just is a nice feeling to get this out. And this is a Moleskine pocket cahier. Is that how you say this type of insert from Moleskine? And so you can see here for a couple books I made collages on Pinterest and printed them out, and this was really fun to make. I just searched on Pinterest the book's name and like aesthetic and took some pictures I found, as well as I searched specific things. So for Clockwork Princess, I just searched clock and library and things like that, and then took all these pictures and collaged them in Canva and printed them out in a simple rectangle that I can put in here. So all of the work was done digitally, and then I just printed it off, which I am a designer for my job, so that was like easy and fun for me. I don't always do it though. You'll see I have a lot of books where I just write about them, and sometimes I write the chapter that I'm writing about just to keep up with it. Every now and then I do a wrap up of books I read and any books I bought, just so I don't forget them, because again, I'm trying to stay off my phone, so having this with me and using it as a space to write anything I'm thinking about books just keeps me off my phone. There's nothing wrong with using your notes app, but for me, I get very easily sucked into social media, so I'm trying to stay off my phone. These little stickers I used a while back. They're on like a sticker roll of washi, and you just cut them off. They're not perforated, so you do have to cut them, which is just not always super convenient, but I do like them a lot. So sometimes I use those when I'm at my desk, but again, no pressure. I just use whatever pen I have. So this is like a fountain pen with my Merlot ink, and then this is most likely my Muji pen. And then for some books, I've kept a blank page in case I do want to go and collage at a different time just for fun, because I like doing that. And then these are books I've added. So Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, and I have a quote picked out that I highlighted in the book I'm going to add here. And then Annihilation, I still need to finish my thoughts on it, and maybe also, depending on how much I have to say, I'm thinking of doing a mood board for this book too, because it has really specific atmosphere to it that I kind of want to capture. So I might do that. And then I'm also listening to the 6th volume of the Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon. And you can see I had a new pen. This was just the other day, and I got a Uniball Zento pen, which I really love, because my Uniball 1, the little short kind, I forget what those are called off the top of my head, but the short Uniball ones, I have the orange one, and it was running out of ink, and I have been wanting to try the Zento, so I got this, and then I realized I accidentally got the 0.7, but I had already opened it and started using it, so still really like it, but I did go ahead and order a 0.38, because that's the size of Muji pen I'm used to. So I think I'll prefer that, but I do love how smooth and inky it is. And I'll either still use this pen elsewhere, or I will let my husband try it because I thought he might like it. So you can see here, this is my Muji 0.38, and this is this Zento in 0.7, if you are curious. But yeah, I'm halfway through this journal, and these Moleskine journals start having perforated pages on the back half. I think just because of the way they're bound in here, they're not perforated on the front half of the pages, which I don't necessarily really mind because most likely I'll keep all the pages in here. And then there's a little folder in the back of these two. I have a pen clip with my Pilot Metro pen that I've been loving, that I have my favorite green ink in, so I like to use this sometimes. And then obviously my other pen is the Muji pen in here. And this is also almost out of ink, so I'll probably swap it for the Zento in the 0.38 when it comes in, just to try out that pen, but I still love both of these pens. And then this is a Midori Commonplace book that I got for $5.99. It is pretty slim and A6 size, and it has a front area for you to put a key, which I still have not done. It has an index, and then it has a key, I'll show you, like this, that you can move around. Again, I have not color coded my key because I have not been using this loads. I've found it more natural just to write this kind of thing in my main journal in here, which is this Stalogy. I'll show you in a second. So I think I'm kind of becoming more of a everything in one notebook kind of person with all the experimenting I've done. I like this, and I kept it in here because I still want to try it out, but the grid is really small for me. I don't know that I love that. You can see my handwriting is kind of inconsistent because I was trying 2 of the grids at a time, and like one grid space sometimes, and different things. And I saw some people who sketched in their commonplace, and I wanted to try, but I still have not been happy with different variations of handwriting. The last thing I was writing about is autism and handwriting, and was just researching about that because my whole life my handwriting is really inconsistent, and I kind of was just researching more about why that might be, and I captured some of that here and then tried to draw. This is my rendition of the cover of the Emma M. Lyon books that have the illustration on them, and then this is just obviously a little hand I was trying to draw. But yeah, I'm still kept this in here because I want to keep trying it out, but I haven't really committed to like the key and everything. I am trying out these dots are with this pen also by Midori called Join Dots. So they're just like different dot markers. And when I'm at my desk, I do like this, and so I come through and just color coat them when necessary, but I only have 3 colors, and I don't know that everything in my commonplace could fit with 3 colors. So I'm unsure, but I'll still use this pen even if I don't use this little journal. I knew when I tried it out that I might not prefer it, but I wanted to try it because I've been eyeing it for a while, and it is only $5.99 if you are interested in this. Juice break. This is my pineapple passion fruit juice, which is very sweet, so it's definitely a treat. And then this is the back of that same clear folder, and I don't really have anything in here. I have this little piece of paper that came with the same set that this came with, I believe. But I do want to stick something in here, so maybe some sticky notes or something if I have some that fit in here. But I've been personalizing and adding things in here really slowly just to kind of hopefully come up with something I love more naturally. I feel like sometimes I try to predict what I'm going to like, and I feel like this time I'm trying to make space for figuring out what I like and just trying things more slowly. So in the back I have my Stalogy, and you might remember I had set this journal up with this Midori and the Stalogy. They're both A6, and I love them both, but it was getting really thick, and it was kind of bending the spine. Like if you can see, that was kind of pulling the book a certain way. So I decided I want to try out the past like 2 weeks just one of these A6 journals in here, and it was a really hard choice because I really do love them both. The Midori lies so flat, and I did my monthly favorites spread in here, and I have my photography in here that I've been loving to do. I just print off photos of mine and then talk about them, write about what I like and what I want to continue, because I was kind of falling off of taking photos. But again, I started just kind of writing in here and just using it for whatever, and I was having more fun with that, with less structure on what I use each journal for, just journaling wherever it fit. Like, so I really like to use my fountain pen on this paper. I personally really like this Midori cream paper with the light blue grid, and using my fountain pen, at least my Pilot Metropolitan pen on this paper, works really well. So I love this journal, and I'm still using it. I'm still using it for photography. I just kind of keep it at my desk lately, and I went with keeping the Stalogy in here for now. Honestly, I really do love both of them, so I'm torn. I think I just felt the Stalogy fit a little better, but I actually prefer my fountain pen ink, at least the ink that's currently in here, which is this Rohrer und Klinger, what's it called? Old Golden Green ink. This is like my favorite green ink, and it feathers a little bit on this Stalogy paper. I don't really mind it, but it's just a little more smooth on the Midori paper. So I still went with the Stalogy to keep in here for now to try filling it up. And then when I fill this up, I'll either get another one or try to fill up my Midori if I haven't yet, because I've just been liking sticking with one journal. Like I have these two in the front for very specific things, but I really like otherwise just putting whatever I want in here. So these first couple days, I just wrote a little bit, and then I wrote a quote from Upstream by Mary Oliver that I'm currently reading through. I wrote another quote here, and then I just journaled, and I'm trying out different margin areas. So like this is like a 3-grid margin area, and then I started putting titles up here, just kind of anything to summarize what the entry was about. Usually it's just a journal entry, but still writing something up here helps me remember what I was journaling about. I put a tab on here because it was something I wanted to refer to later, and I have a dot to signify it's a journal entry. And then I'm using the same purplish blue dots for journal entries here with the same margin that you can see. I didn't really use the margin for anything, but I still like having it because I've been loving flipping through this journal and revisiting pages and viewing it like it's a work in progress and no page is particularly finished. I can just return to it whenever I want, add whatever I want, and just really like a space to be free. Still had the 3-grid margin here. And then this is a list of things I was considering purchasing. And then I put this clear sticky note over it I was going to mark off the things I got on the sticky note, and then I had already done it on the paper, so it's not super useful right here, but I just sit with this journal in the mornings and sometimes the afternoons outside while I'm watching my kids play, and I just try to journal whatever is on my mind. So sometimes it's a list. This is a list of inks I want to try, and I only had one on my mind when I made the list, so I tabbed it so I could return to it to add more inks later, because obviously all this space is empty, so I might as well add inks here as I find them. And I put this little ink pot and feather quill sticker here. And yeah, I like that it's tabbed so I can easily find it when I want to add more inks to the list. And yeah, I think viewing my journals like they are a work in progress has been a lot more fun for me. This is a red dot because I use red dots when it's a poem. And then over here, I was playing around with writing a whole list of ideas for a story I'm writing, and the gaps just kind of mean they're separate thoughts. So like this is all supposed to be read chronologically. This is a separate idea I had for an earlier part of the story. And then this is all the same story, the same portion of a story I was working on. And I made these little marks where I'm imagining the page broken up because I'm thinking this will be a children's story. So I wanted to kind of get an idea of where I want the breaks in the writing to be. I added a little sticker here just because it was an empty space. Again, I've been flipping through the pages and adding things as I go and viewing it like a work in progress. I sketched this picture when we stayed at an Airbnb, and this tree was in the backyard, but then I made up the rest just for fun. I've really been putting a lot fewer rules on what I can include in here, and that's helped a lot. I tend to ebb and flow between a lot of rules and none because I'm neurodivergent and I like structure, but then it gets to be too much. So the rule right now is just to to write and use my journals more than my phone. And so if I want to make a list, I try to do it in here. If I want to write about the book I'm reading, I do it in here. Even you can see here, I wrote about Emma M. Lyon in 2 spots. This was before I added that little reading journal. This is kind of why I added that reading journal in here. I figured I already have it. Why not fill it up? If it's not being used because it's in another journal cover, why not just move it in here? And plus, I wanted to see what the Moleskine pocket felt like in here, because I do think this is a nice size journal for this cover. Since the cover is A6, both the Stalogy and the Midori fit really flush, whereas a pocket size has more room around it. And I just wanted to try both because, again, I wanted it to feel like a space I could do whatever I wanted with less pressure, especially if I'm using things I already own. I don't think you need to go out and buy a bunch of new stuff if that is not what you're going for. So since I already had this, just in a different cover, I just moved it in here. Once it's full, I may just move to using this journal as literally everything, depending on how quickly I fill it up. But yeah, so far I've been loving the Stalogy and the crinkliness of the paper. And then I added a sticky note later because I wanted to say a little bit more about the specific passage I was talking about in my book on this day. So I put a clear sticky note over top. This day, I wrote a line to break up the topics I was writing about. So this was about my book, and then this was about typewriters. And then over here, I wrote about the pen I was using. I think I was switching between a Muji 0.38 and a 0.5. And so I was just kind of making notes about that because I didn't really do it intentionally. Here you can see this. Oh, and I wrote in the margins here that I had been using my Uniball 1 pen and it was running out of ink. And so it was bothering me. It kept like skipping and getting lighter. And so right here is where I switched to my Muji. And then I kind of write about that and write about the 0.38 and 0.5 pens and what I'm liking. So yeah, some of this has been figuring out what pens I prefer, which I definitely was the type of person I knew what pen I liked when I was younger and was journaling a lot. And then I think I just tried a lot of new pens and wasn't that picky. And now I'm back to being picky and remembering, because I'm journaling so often, what I like. And I actually really like a Micron sometimes because it's waterproof and you can highlight over it later and things like that. And I have not been journaling in here every day, but because of the nice size of the A6, when I do journal, sometimes I've done like 7 pages in one day. So I've been really, really loving this setup. And the A6 size is perfect for trying out different things. So sometimes what I'll do is write like a journal entry to start the day. I wrote what pen I was using because I had been trying out different ones. And then later I'll just write inserts that I would like to try in this journal. Then I wrote later on the same day something about wanting less, that I want a lot of things, but writing them down and thinking about them can be sometimes as fulfilling as buying them. I don't need to buy all these things right away. Like the video game Pair Lives I've been wanting, but I was writing about how there's no rush and I don't need to get it right now. Stuff like that. And then I was writing about nostalgia over here and journals and picking blackberries with my mom over here. And so I did include a little more ephemera. I was just trying that out. And I do like how this spread looks. I think it's really cute. Just some stickers I had. And then this picture I didn't end up using in my summer TBR bucket list spread in my reading journal. I wanted to use it in here and still was talking about what I want to do this summer and how I want to make a cobbler and things like that. And then some other ways I experimented with getting in my journal every day were, one day I made a did list because I didn't get to start that day in my journal. So the day was kind of just going on and I didn't feel like I had a good start to my day. So in the middle of the day, so normally in the morning I would write maybe like a to-do list, but this day had gone on and I had done so many things, but I was feeling like I hadn't done anything. So I sat down and wrote a did list of things I already did, because when you put it all down on paper, I realized I had actually done a lot and I was kind of just being hard on myself. And then later I added a sticky note of what I still wanted to get done this day. Over here, I did a quick list. So I just highlighted columns and oh my gosh. Okay. So I was filming and then my camera shut off because it was overheating. And then I took something out to the trash can, like outside, and there was a crayon on our driveway and it's completely melted. And I looked at my phone and it said the temperature at least feels like 109 today. So makes sense why I feel like my POTS is acting up and I feel very out of breath. It's because I'm standing and it is apparently feels like 109 outside and I'm right by my window. So I might need to blow that out just to make things less hot around here, but we'll continue for a little. I was saying that one day I made just a quick plan for the week. I didn't even include Friday. It was just days. I think it was on Monday when I made it, and there was things I needed to do, feed my brother's cats, and then my daughter had like dance certain times. So it was just something on my mind real quick, and this is the journal I had with me. So I just made a quick plan, and you can see like Wednesday I didn't even end up filling in. I just wrote what I needed to remember, and this really helped me get some things off my mind. So love using it for just whatever I need. This is a list I made. This is like kind of like a list, but obviously it looks more like a entry because I kind of just did it in stream of consciousness, but I essentially was just writing things I'm thinking about without my phone. So again, practicing going a long time without my phone and just writing things I'm thinking about. Even if it was like, I want to search this later, and I felt, I don't know about you guys, but often I just like pull up my phone to search something or look up something. And instead of doing that, I was just writing about it. And then over here, I wrote my May favorites, kind of in like stream of consciousness form, and then started organizing it into categories down here. Then just one day stuck some stickers down in the middle of the paper, and whenever I needed to journal again, just journaled around them. And put some little like sparkle doodles over here. Again, just having fun. Wrote a headline text with my brush pen, and then an entry with my fountain pen. Then another just journal entry signified by my purplish blue dot. And then light blue dot I'm using for lists. So this is a list of books I want to read right now. So this specific day in June, I don't know about you guys, but do you ever start to like group things together in your head? I was kind of doing that because someone was talking about The Secret Life of Addie LaRue, and I've wanted to read that book for a long time, but I haven't. And then I started thinking about the book Stardust by Neil Gaiman. Again, I have not read these books, so I'm not trying to claim that they're like particularly similar, but essentially I had like a star theme going. Like I know The Secret Life of Addie LaRue references stars. So again, I just started to group things that felt similar to me, just books I wanted to read right that moment. Piranesi by Susanna Clark, Stardust by Neil Gaiman, The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, kind of in a different vein, The Lord of the Rings, Heir of Seven Waters by Juliette Marillier, Alphabet of Thorn by Patricia A. Michala, Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Allen, and Wildwood Dancing by Juliette Marillier. So just like kind of fantasy books, some themed around stars, but for the most part, most of these I think are tied together in that they're pretty poetic. Again, have not read them, but some of the authors I know their writing style, and these are all books that I felt like reading at that time, and eventually I think it could be fun to group some of these together and do like, maybe some of these ones do like a star themed reading sprint or something. And then over here, I was writing about purplish blue, so just a journal entry, and I was writing about chalk pastel drawings I had been doing and getting back into doing my chalk pastel artwork. They're very messy, so I kind of have taken a long break from doing chalk pastels since having little kids, and now that they're older, I've kind of been getting back into them. And my daughter had a star on her hand from dance, and she gave it to me, so I stuck that here. Then I did ... because this is a continuation of the same entry, so same day, just continued it. This day I just wrote short form content ideas and long form content ideas and kind of separated them. And again, the tealish greenish blue is for lists, so I like just at a glance being able to see my dot sticker. I feel like the dot stickers mixed with the titles really helps me view this as a work in progress and keep referring back to things and just ruminating on my thoughts more. I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but I tend to just go through the motions of life, and the style of journaling, especially filling up as many pages as I feel like, and then referring back to them, adding notes in the margins, adding stickers later, that kind of thing has been helping me to sit with my own thoughts, to get them out of my head if they're short, but then return to them and think about them in a new light and that kind of thing. I, this day, wrote down my dream life. So not necessarily in absolute detail, but just started writing down a vision I was having of my dream life. On Wednesday, I wrote Wednesday affirmations, so just affirming things that I want to keep believing. This day, I wrote seeking wisdom, and I kind of wrote it in like a prayer-like form, asking/seeking wisdom and writing what I want wisdom about, just things in my life and how to move forward in different areas. My husband and I are starting a coffee company, so I feel a lot of changes happening in my life. We still have our jobs, but so we're doing our coffee company on top of that. And we're just starting with a cart, but it's still taking a lot of work. So there kind of was just taking time to sit with that and all the changes I feel happening. This day I wrote down sticker sheet ideas because I really want to make my own sticker sheets. I've been thinking about this for a really long time. A lot of places online you have to order in bulk to get them. And I don't know that sometimes I just want to try out like a singular sticker sheet. So meanwhile, I'm just making a list of all the sticker sheets I want to make myself. This day I swatched some beautiful washi tapes from the washi tape shop. This is their Van Gogh collection, these 3, and I really love, if you can see like the gold on there. So I just swatched them here and I marked the date so I remembered this is when I got them. This is just another little journal entry and then a sticker I added. This sticker and a few others were on the little freebie sheet that comes with the washi tape shop's orders, and I really like them. They're pretty thick. So I put that there. Starting a coffee company, something I journaled about, titled it that, and then put a little coffee sticker and talked about the drinks we are planning to start with. And then this little sticker, as well as that like fruit bowl one earlier, this one. And let me see, these ones. These are, well, not that one. This is from the washi tape shop, that little freebie sticker sheet. But these ones in the fruit bowl are from this 2-page sticker sheet that I got a while ago and have been saving them. I can't quite remember where they're from, but I think they're really cute. And I really liked just the style of them, the simplistic and fun, whimsical style of them, and the packaging it came with. So I saved the packaging in my traveler's notebook, standard size, where I'm keeping all my kind of junk journaling stuff. So I'll link those stickers below when I look up the brand in my traveler's notebook. And then I just journaled some more, and this day I did a 4-grid margin, which is something I've been liking. I've been doing that, or just kind of 2 columns. So less of a margin and more of just a 2-column situation. And I had tabbed this day because I returned later to fill out the 2nd column, but I could probably move my little tab somewhere else. I just move it every now and then. And then the other side is my July reads. So I felt like writing books I want to prioritize reading in July, just because I did my summer TBR spread in my reading journal, but I kind of wanted to break down some of those books by month. So as I was nearing the end of June, I wanted to write down, I was thinking of the books I expected to finish in June, and then thinking of what would be left on my TBR that I should prioritize reading in July. Over here, I wrote in the 2 columns, but I wrote 2 different titles. In this column, I wrote about rug hooking, a project I want to do. And in this column, I wrote about the book I was reading, Queen of Shadows. I may have still not added the little reading journal in here yet. And I think that's why. And that's why I added this in here and started journaling about Queen of Shadows in here. And then when I was writing this entry, I just continued on and didn't do my columns because I felt I had more to say. So again, just being really loose with how I do my pages and going with the flow. And then I added a little collage of 2 stickers. This is from that same sticker sheet I was just showing. This is from a pack from Journal Say. And then this little guy is from some flake stickers I got a while back from Jet Pens. It's actually called Black Cat Detective Agency little stickers, and that's where like the quill, the ink pot and the quill sticker was from. And then this one, I've been trying just to use up stickers I have that I really loved when I got them, but I haven't used them much. I think sometimes I hoard my stickers. I'm trying to use them. Here I journaled with my fountain pen and then later wrote the title I wanted with my Muji If I didn't say this, often I write my title later, so I start writing 4 dot grids in and on the second grid line, and I add my title later after whatever I wrote about, because often my writing is stream of consciousness. So I kind of just summarize what I wrote about later. And this day I wrote favorite paper because I was writing about journals and picking to keep this Stalogy journal in here or the Midori one, and talking about my favorite paper types. Over here, I didn't have my other pen, so I wrote the title with the same Muji, and I just wrote ideas I'm having. So just, again, offloading stuff on my brain, sitting with my thoughts instead of scrolling on social media. And then I did a second column I would say these columns are a little more equal in size, so I was playing again with how I like my columns to be. And then on this page, I used my star hole punch to punch out a pack of Pokemon cards, not the actual cards, but just like the cardboard part, because I've been collecting Pokemon cards with my kids and my husband, and I just wrote "Gotta catch 'em all" and kind of made a little spread out of it. And I feel like then I kind of got into a creative spout and started adding some collage stickers just for fun. I wrote "Free yourself from the constraints of having to make sense and make art." It's just something random I was thinking, and my pen kind of was failing on me when I did the R, but whatever. I just thought it was a fun way to use a page. And then I started writing about my creativity in general. These are different forms of art I like to do. I wanted to list out, and then I was just writing. And here I did the star hole punch on the page, if you can see that. And behind it, added a star punch out of some tissue paper that I had got with a birthday present, and I kept it. And I'm trying not to hoard everything, so I punched a star out and then saved a little bit of it, but then threw the rest away, so I'm not hoarding everything. And I think that turned out really pretty, and I put it behind this punch out so you can see it like that. And I thought that was an easy way to add a little bit of visual interest with the star punch. And then I purposely put this collage. I put a little fish sticker to kind of be completely visible through the window of the star. Here I went back to trying the four grid wide margin. I think just when in doubt, I start writing, like I said, 5, I guess, grids in and 1 row down. And I just do that when I don't want to think about how to divide my page. That's like my go-to now. And over here, I wrote in the margin, here you can see I didn't yet, but I might later. The 3 dots means it's a continuation of the same thing over here. But I did give them different titles this time because over here, I started specifically writing about my 2027 reading journal and how I want to set it up. And I have ordered my journal I'm going to use for it next year, and I'm really excited about it. I've been thinking about it for a while, and I'm planning like how I want to do my setup just because I'm so excited about it. So that was really fun. And over here, I'm writing about doing a tandem read with the next 2 books in the Throne of Glass series, because I just finished Queen of Shadows and I've been listening to them on audiobook, but for Queen of Shadows, I started reading the book and listening at the same time. And long story short, I think I want to continue the series just reading it. I miss physically reading. I feel like I was actually reading faster if I was physically reading and enjoying it more. The narrator of the Throne of Glass series is not my favorite. Nothing wrong. She does a great job in a lot of ways, but just something about females voicing men is easy to be off-putting to me for some reason. I don't know. And so I want to tandem read Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn. And I thought about doing a vlog of it. I don't know if that would be fun for you guys to watch, but if you would like me to vlog going to the bookstore and getting those books and tandem reading and like my thoughts on the books as I go, I thought it could be fun, but I'm undecided. And then I wrote affirmations and just kept it really simple and was just doing my plain black ink. And I did columns, so this is more of a column to me than a margin, and I made it like 7 grids in and just filled it in throughout the day. So I didn't really write all of this at once. I just filled it in when I had time. And then I was feeling creative again and started doing some abstract ink things. This is kind of a style of art I've done for many years and really enjoy doing. I haven't done it in a while, and I just wanted to get back into it and thought I'd try it out on this kind of paper. I've tried many kinds of paper with my inks And these are acrylic inks from Dr. P.H. Martin, and I also use a lot of Liquitex inks as well. And then this one wasn't my favorite, so instead of just like, I don't know, ripping it out or covering it or something, I just put this transparent sticky note and a quote by Maya Angelou about creativity that says, "You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have." So just, again, having fun in here. And then I think the last spread I have is this one. And these two I did, so like this is what I did most recently actually, but these I did the other day and wanted to flip further in my journal to do them so that the ink wouldn't bleed through anything, if that makes sense. So these I did ahead of time. And I think that's the last thing I've done. Oh, I've done this. Okay, so this was again just an abstract composition study, and I wrote some text on this page. And this one, I used one of these little stickers from my latest Journal Say haul. These are on a roll, and they have dates on them, as well as coffee pictures, and then like a little dot rating system. So I've been using it to rate that day's coffee. But yeah, I've been loving viewing it as a work in progress and adding things in as I remember or as I want to work on them. So I did the ink first, and this is the star that I had punched out from the other page, and I just colored it with a Tombow pen and glued it in here so I wouldn't waste it, and just played around with different color combinations, honestly. And then I wrote the text later. And then this I did pretty recently. I just added these stickers because I knew that we were going somewhere this weekend, and it was going to be, we're celebrating the 4th with our family. I added these seashell stickers I had been liking from a sticker book I got so that I could journal around them. And then the rest are just blank. I don't always set up pages beforehand, but yeah, I just wanted to show you that. So as you can see, I've been loving this journal. I have my Leuchtturm pen loop on the back. And I don't know if this is a popular opinion, but I think they're too small. It pretty much only fits my Muji pen. It might fit my Zento pen too, but it's a really tight fit for my Pilot Metro pen. And this is like a slippery smooth pen, so it usually fits in pen holders pretty easy. And I wouldn't say it's very big. So the fact that the Leuchtturm pen holder is too small to hold this is kind of disappointing to me, but it fits if I really, really work on it, but that's not always very convenient. So yeah, been loving this. If you guys use these sticky pen loops, where's your favorite place to put them? Do you put them like on the front or on the back like that? Because it is a little bit close to the back of the journal for me, but ultimately this is where I wanted the Stalogy in my setup, so it's fine for me. But next time I do it, I might change up where I put that. And in the back, I have a Polaroid of my husband and these two items from my Passport Traveler's Notebook. This makeshift pencil board I just made out of a postcard and rounded the edges, and I put sticky notes on it, and I wanted the option to use them because I really like these weekly plan ones if you don't have your planner with you but you just want to do something real quick, or you just want to write down what books you want to read each day or games you want to play or things like that. I really like these, so I just took it out of my Passport Traveler's Notebook and put it back here. And this is a little envelope I got with an order from Sterling Ink that I've kept my little book covers in for my reading journal, just in case I want to glue those in. And I just have a lot of books that I have on my shelf that are unread, and I actually printed some more over here to add. I've got my Ralph Waldo Emerson book of essays, some of the next Emma M. Lyon books that I know I'll get to soon. I want to read Sense and Sensibility. I have read part of this a long time ago, and I love the movie, but there's a new adaptation coming out. Actually, off the top of my head, I don't remember if it's a movie or a TV show. I think it's a movie, but I'm really excited for that, so even more reason to read this. I've been hearing good things about Every Summer After by Carly Fortune and thought that would be a good summer read, so I've got that. And then I've got the next Sarah J. Maas books, of course, and some other books on my summer TBR. So I'm going to put those in there, so when we travel this summer, I can add those if I want to. And yeah, I've been loving this setup. Like, truly, the fact that this journal has kind of pushed me to moving things in one spot, other than my planners that I use, my Filofax and my Me Plus planner for work, and my Filofax is my personal planner. like life planner and where I track things. Other than those two, this is the only journal I've been using for almost 2 months now, and that's been really fun. It's been really nice to have a journal that feels like a comfort. It's kind of become my comfort journal, and I really love it. I think the size is perfect for me. I'm so happy that I spent so long researching it and deciding on it before I got it, but now that I have it, I really love it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for being here. I truly appreciate all of you, especially if you stayed till the end. I know I can ramble, but I really appreciate you and your support, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.